Okay, welcome everyone to the next GCSE lesson. I hope you're all doing okay in lockdown. I hope you're not missing school too much, all you people out there. I know it's difficult, but we're going to try and keep going with some GCSE maths. Just to reiterate again, in terms of your grades and everything like that, I'm sure all teachers are in the same boat as me. We don't know exactly how you're going to be assessed. We don't know what the government are going to change their minds to do or anything at all. So the best thing you can do is keep doing as much work as you can, as much GCSE work. Keep communicating with your teachers. That makes a difference. People that have emailed me, I'm responding to you as fast as I can and giving you help with what to do. But it makes teachers realise that you are trying your best. And that's all you can do at these kind of times. So please, any work you do from this lesson, save it, take a picture of it, let your teacher know what you've done. It's not just good enough to say, I was at the lesson. You need to show what work you've been doing. Okay, right. So we're going to start with, as last lesson, just 6 quick starter questions to have a go at. Going to give you about between 5 and 10 minutes to get those done, then we'll go through the answers. These are the quick questions that you need to be getting right. If you want a grade 3 or higher, you need to be getting most of these questions completely right. Okay, so there they are, okay? So 6 quick questions to have a go at. Okay, feel free to post your any questions you've got in the chat. There's some other teachers there helping as well. So we should be able to get back to you with any help you need, and then I'll go through these on the board in a bit. Let me know if the picture's okay as well. I've tried to make it a bit bigger, worked out to get into landscape mode. So have a go at those and we'll go through them in a bit. Okay, please be really careful with some of these as well. Question 6, put that one on there because that is answered wrongly so many times. Similar things with question 3, just rushing that, making silly mistakes. If you know how to do these are the questions you need to make sure you are getting correct. You need to make sure you're taking your time and making no silly mistakes. Okay, if anyone has just turned up, we're just trying to get those 6 questions in to start with, some fairly basic GCSE standard questions, and then we'll get on to the main part of the topic, which is about area and perimeter. Right, just a few more minutes on these questions, please. And if it wasn't obvious, these are non-calculator questions. I'll let you know if you can use a calculator. If I don't say you can, assume everything is non-calculator, particularly obviously number 2 and number 6. Right, okay, again, let me know about the picture. I'll try to make it a bit lighter with this sun. I don't want to ruin the monitor here. We're going to go through these 6 questions now. First one, square numbers. Don't think we do enough of this, we don't talk about these enough. The square numbers are the answers when you square something. So the first square number is 1 squared, which equals 1. And that can confuse you thinking that 2 is going to be a square number as well. 2 is not a square number. The answer to 2 squared is a square number, so it's 4. Then 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. Okay, so those are your square numbers there. Remember, squaring means multiplying a number by itself. So 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, right. Next one, work out 37.8, take away 19.24. Let's make sure you're using a column method or something like this, especially if you need it for your exam. Notice the points are lined up. I always add an extra 0 to help me. And I'm doing 0 take away 4, which is not 4. This is where you do the borrow thing. So that goes to a 7. We borrow 1 from there to make it into a 10. 10 take away 4 is 6. 7 take away 2 is 5. 7 take away 9, we borrow as well. 17 take away 9 is 8, and 2 take away 1 is 1, so you get 18.56.
Push the curtain out a bit. People are saying it's a bit dark.
Okay, there are other ways to take those away, up to you as long as you get the correct answer. That is the most important thing. Right, evaluate 3 cubed. Okay, this was on a very recent exam paper. I know for my lot it was on the mock. Okay, 5 cubed equals 5 times 5 times 5. And once you get that bit now, a lot of you think, I'm done, I know the answer, I'm sorted. But you've got to keep going, you've got to make sure you do that accurately. 5 times 5 times 5, first of all, is not 15. 5 times 5 is 25. Then we need to times that by 5. And I've seen a number of mistakes, we're just multiplying that by 5. 5 25s, I would just add 5 of them together. We know 4 25s is 100, one more is 125. Question 4, expanding brackets. This is one of those skills to just practice. There are so many marks for this kind of thing in your exams. 5 times 6x is 30x. 5 times -4 is -20, and you stop there. You don't then say I've got 50x. That is as simple as it gets. 30x minus 20. Question 5, the range. So the range is the biggest number and the smallest number, the difference between them. I've been a bit tricky here and put a negative number in there. So my smallest number is definitely -3. And the biggest number is 6. So it's 6 take away -3, or the difference between 6 and -3. Difference and take away mean the same thing. Same as a subtraction. So the difference between those is if you count up from -3 to 6, you get 9. Or we should know that if you take away a negative, that goes to a plus. So 6 plus 3 equals 9. So my range is 9. And finally, question 6. This question, they love putting this on because they're trying to spot you understand your place value. 0.3 times 0.2. Now 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 times 0.3 times 0.2 is not 0.6. If you did 3 times 0.2, that would be 0.6. So 0.3 times 0.2 equals 0.06. A good way to check is to underline your digits after the decimal place. So we got 1, 2 there, we've got 2 there, so you know you are correct with what you got. Okay, right, we're going to look at a main part of the topic now, and the main things are understand what area and perimeter are. I'm sure you all know that, but they are easy to get them mixed up. Being able to calculate the area and perimeter for different shapes and solve GCSE style problems. And there are some tough problems on this topic. Much harder than it used to be a few years ago, much harder. So there's a lot of problem solving involved. So the very basics are this shape here. Okay, I'd like you to post your answers as well, so if you can work out what is the area and what is the perimeter of this shape. So quite clearly, if you can put area equals and perimeter equals, can you post those in the chat? If you think this is easy, great, because it should be, but it's also very easy to get mixed up. So can you post those answers in the chat as soon as you've got them, please? Okay, has anyone got any answers to post for this yet? Please put them in there. I just want to see who's got it right, who's got it wrong. We're going to go through them in like 30 seconds anyway, but please post your answer for area and perimeter of that rectangle. I would always label those on first as well, maybe that helps. Okay, right, so in this question, to find the area and perimeter, I'm trying to show you how confusing it can actually be. The area is where you multiply them together, or you count the squares on the inside. If you count the squares as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we've got 18 squares, or a quick way of doing that, you've got 3 rows of 6. Because it's a rectangle, you can say 3 times 6. So area equals 3 times 6, which equals 18, and they are square units, so you put your centimetre squares there. Now the perimeter, you might be thinking you're doing this right, but maybe you're not. The perimeter is a total distance around the outside of the whole rectangle. So you start there, you go 6, then 3, then 6, then 3. Makes you go all the way around. So 6 add 3 add 6 add 3 is also 18. But this time it is centimetres. I can see this kind of question being up where they talk about the units, where it says explain why they've made a mistake. So think about your units. They are really important to show the difference, because you would not know what you worked out if you didn't put the units down for this question. Right, so those are the basics. You've got to get those right. If you find the perimeter when they ask for the area, you get no marks. So it gets much harder than that because there's a lot of different shapes we need to work out. So these are 6 common shapes seen in GCSE mathematics, and you need to know how to find the area of all of these and the formulas to use that as well. So I want you to look at those 6 shapes and try and work out which ones can you find the area of. Don't worry about perimeter, just the area. Some are easier than others. I'm happy for you to use a calculator if you want to, that's absolutely fine. If you haven't got a calculator, you can just leave that one in terms of pi. But see which ones you know to find the area of, and then we'll go through these in a few minutes. No need to post your answers, but please, if you need any help, just ask. Say, I'm not sure about this one. We will try and give you some help. All right, off you go. Okay, right, so let's make sure you know your different area formulas, and if you don't know the area formulas, I'm going to show you how to use them so that you can use them in the future. And you need to memorise these, you need to know them, particularly some of them. To be honest, some are more important than others, and I'll let you know which ones are the most important as we go through them. So, first of all, the square, we know it's a square because those little dashes there mean all the sides are equal. So we can say that that's 6 and that's 6. So the square is quite simply the side times itself. Okay, side times itself, or base times itself. Doesn't matter what you think, you are squaring something. So you're doing 6 times 6, which equals 36 centimetres squared. Okay, the rectangle, which we've just kind of been through, so there shouldn't be any problems there. The rectangle is base times height. Base times height, 11 times 4, so in this case 11 times 4, which equals 44 centimetres squared. This shape is a parallelogram. You know it's a parallelogram because those lines are parallel and so are those. They will normally be marked with little arrows. I haven't put them on the list, but they should be. And all you're doing, a good tip when you're multiplying sides together, they should always be sides that are perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular means cross at 90 degrees, like the vertex of the square. So those lines are what you're interested in. These slanted lines are not of any interest when you're finding the area. It's always things that are like right angles with each other, or a capital T I often use to spot them. So it's just base times height. If you imagine slotting that triangle into there, you've got a rectangle anyway. So the parallelogram, if I can spell it, the parallelogram is 6 times 4, which equals 24 centimetres squared. Triangle, really, really important. Always comes up. You are going to have to find the area of triangles in your exams. Really important formula to know. It is the base times the height. You don't need that 7 for anything at all. It's one of those slanted sides, not interested in it. Base times the height, but because it's a triangle, you are going to have to halve it. You need to get rid of that space there that would have made up a rectangle. So it's base times height and then halved. So I'll just put parallelogram in. So triangle is base times height and then halve it. Base times height, 8 times 5, and then halved it is 40 divided by 2, which is 20 centimetres squared. Trapezium, hardest shape, and to be honest, not massively important because you can work it out by splitting it into triangles anyway. Doesn't matter what you say the bottoms are, as long as they add up to 8, it's fine. So you could split it into triangles, but there are some useful formulas. If you are going to do a trapezium rule, there's 2 you can use. First one is to go in between 8 and 4 and times by the height. Because 8 is too big, 4 is too small, so halfway between will be 6. So for the trapezium, we're going to do 6 times 5, which gives us 30 centimetres squared. If you want a formula for it, hard to remember, but what you're really doing is this. You are doing a half A plus B times height, where A and B are those 2 sides there. You can always split into triangles though. You can split into triangle, triangle, rectangle. It takes a bit longer, but it's one less thing to remember. And finally the circle. To find the area here, we are looking at pi r squared, or radius times pi. The radius of this circle is not 6, that's the diameter, so the radius is 3, so we are looking at 3 times pi, which is going to be either 9 pi, you can leave your answer as, or as a decimal, it's going to be about 28 point something, I think. I'll just check that when I've got a calculator handy. Okay, so those are your answers for the area shapes. Now then, it's not as simple as that. It is very rare now in the new GCSE where they just give you a shape and just say find the area of it. It's going to be either mixed up in a functional question, something to do with money or cost or practical math, or it's going to be problem solving. So we're going to look at one example of each of those for you to do, and then we're going to finish with some exam questions. So the first one is a garden question I've come up with because I'm trying to garden myself at the moment. Took out all the trees and stuff like that, and then the tip closed because of the lockdown. So a bit frustrated. I've got a little kind of cut down forest just in the corner of the garden at the moment. So I thought I'd do a gardening question. Not that you can get any gardening done at the moment, but anyway, here it is. So I've got a garden there, a rectangular garden, and we want to get the hedge trimmed, which is beautifully spray painted on green stuff there. And we also want to get all of the grass cut by a gardener. And these are the gardening rates here. So they're saying they're going to charge 50p per metre for hedge clipping, 25p per square metre of grass. And there's a special pre-lockdown discount of 10% off. So this is them trying to get their business in before they end up realising they can't get any work whatsoever. So the question is, how much will it cost to clip all the hedges and cut all the grass? Now you need to think about, do I need to find the perimeter or the area? Do I need to find both of them? What makes sense for this question? Right? There's no point learning about area and perimeter unless there's an actual practical use for it, and there are loads of practical uses for this. If you were a gardener, you might charge your rates like this. You're going to work out how long a job's going to take by looking at the area and the perimeter. Alright, so we'll have a go at that question and we'll go through this in detail. So, can you work out how much it will cost to clip all the hedges and cut all the grass? You would be expected to do this kind of question without a calculator. The numbers are not that easy, but this is kind of the top level where you'll get to without a calculator. So please try it without a calculator. If you can't manage it, then use a calculator. It could be on either paper. Alright, off you go. Any questions? Put it in the chat, please. Thank you. Can I just say on these big questions as well, if you think I don't know how to get all the marks in them, don't just stop and leave it blank. Just do some maths. We'll get over to this in kind of the next bit, but if you think you need to work out the area and get some marks, work out the area. Do some work and you are going to be getting marks. You don't need to get all the marks, but you shouldn't be getting no marks and leaving anything blank at all. Just think about what you can do rather than what you can't do. finishing his comprehension. Right, okay, we're going to go through this one. We're going to do one more problem that I've come up with from a GCSE paper, and then we're going to look at a few GCSE ones for you so you can work at your own pace. So, big question this one, but it's very systematic the way you can do it. So you read it bit by bit. So 50p per metre for hedge clipping. So that says to me I need to work out the length of the hedges. So when you write this down, try and be organised with what you write down. I'm going to leave those area formulas up there. So hedge, okay, so the length, if you add all those together, 5 add 14 add 12 add 10, so almost like a perimeter question, is going to give you 41 metres. Okay, so my cost is 50p per metre of hedge clipping. So I need to do 41 lots of 50p. So you either do 41 times 50 pence, and then you can change it into pounds, or you do... Oh, okay, just put no. Later. Hold on a second. Yeah. Or you do 41, maybe you thought it's £0.5, so you could divide it by 2. So this total cost is going to be £20.50. So that's for your hedges. Now 25p per square metre of grass. As soon as you see that key term square metre, you know it's to do with area, because we measure area in square units and square metres. So you need to find the area of the grass. Okay, so it's not quite a rectangle because we've got this patio there. So your options are you either split it into 2 rectangles, or you can find the whole rectangle and take away the patio. Generally I see most people split this, so we're going to split it up. Oh, I've got no idea if I can write on that TV. Well, I'm committed now, we'll see afterwards. Oh dear. Right, so the bottom one here is 10 times 12. This is 10, this is 12, so 10 times 12 is 120. I really hope that comes off. And this one here is 5, and this key length here. Never guess what it is. You know this is 10, you know this is 14, so this has to be 4. So 4 times 5 is 20, and your total area, add them together, is 140. So grass is area is 140 square metres. 25p per square metre, so I would divide that by 4 because I know there's 4 25s make a pound, or you could times by 25 and then change it into pounds afterwards. It's absolutely fine. With a calculator you could times by 0.25, up to you. So this divided by 4 gives me £35 for the grass cost. So add those together, so my total cost is £55.50, but that is without the lockdown discount, so I'm going to have to take my 10% off. To find 10% without a calculator, you're going to find it and then don't forget to subtract it. You are not going to get it for £5 or something, you've got to work it out first. So my 10% of this is divided by 10, because it's 10% and 100%, so this divided by 10, so I write down 10% equals £5.55. And then don't forget to subtract it. No one is going to do all that work for £5.55, I'm afraid. So you take this away. So again, a subtraction, use a column method if you want. So I'm doing this one goes to a 4, 10 take away 5 is 5. Carry on to there, 14 take away 5 is 9. And then we've got 54 take away 5 is £49.95 for your total there. £49.95. Right, a very typical kind of grade 3/grade 4 question. There's a lot of work in it, but it's the kind of thing that is practical as well, so it's useful to be able to do this kind of thing. Right. Okay, moment of truth. Ah, like a dream. Okay, do it more often. Right, so this is a question which comes up for me. It's very typical of GCSE problems where it gives you a lot of information all at once and people get confused about what to do with it. Please follow this advice. Look at the diagram and work stuff out as you go along. As you read one line, annotate stuff, work things out straight away. You don't need to read the whole question. Please don't waste your time reading it twice. That does not work with maths questions. Read it once if you want. I wouldn't even read the whole thing. Just read one little bit and do stuff as you go. So QR equals 10 centimetres. As soon as I read that, I'm writing my 10 on here. This is much easier now I can write on the TV. BC equals PQ. Okay, so I might put my little marks there to show that those are the same. No. Okay, perimeter of ABCD is 26 centimetres. Can't really sit on there, Sebby.
Come here.
The perimeter of ABCD is 26 centimetres. So I know all the way around there, all the way around and putting it on the outside is 26 centimetres. Right, here we go. The first thing I can work out, the area of PQRS is 45, so I'm writing 45 in the middle there because I know its area. Now, as soon as I get to this stage, I think I can work something out. Don't know what the rest of the question is. I don't want to know what the rest of the question is. I can start working something out. Okay, so I've started you off there. Can you have a go, see if you can finish off that question now by just read a line, work something out. Read a line, work something out. Okay, and this is a key skill for problem solving, particularly on the foundation GCSE. Okay, off you go. This was a non-calculator question. This is on a paper one, so make sure you can do it without a calculator, please. Okay, we're going to finish this one off and I'm going to give you a range of questions to have a go at. So we know the area of this is 45 centimetres. So we're going to use this fact here that base times height equals the area of a rectangle. So we know that 10 times something gives us our area. So if you like, 10 times something gives you 45. So we're going to think about either dividing 45 by 10 or just using some common sense to say 10 times what that missing number is, which is going to be 4.5. So I know that my base is 4.5. Now, find the length of AB, but before I do that I'm going to look up to here and I know something else. I know those are the same, so I know this is 4.5 and I know the perimeter is 26 centimetres. So I can surely work out the other lengths as well, because I know this plus this plus this plus this equals 26 centimetres. These are the same, so that's 4.5, and my missing value are my x's. So I know that 4.5 and 4.5 is 9, so I know that 9 plus these two here, 2x if you like, equals 26. So I'm going to take away the 6 from the 26 to work out what's left, which leaves you with 17, and then I've got to split that between the two sides, so I'm going to divide it by 2, which gives me 9.5. No, it doesn't. 8.5 centimetres. Now, great problem solving involved in there, but if you mess up with not knowing the formulas in the first place, or if what I've seen quite a few pupils do with this is you get area and perimeter mixed up, then you've got no chance. If you start thinking it's talking about perimeter of 45, you're going to mess up straight away from the beginning. So you need to know your facts before you can even start having fun with the problem. Right, so we're going to have a look now at the GCSE questions. So just before this live video, the post just below it should be some actual exam questions. There's 2 sheets of those exam questions. One of them is called Area Exam Questions 1 and one's called Area Exam Questions 2. Can we start with Area Exam Questions 1, please? So if you can get that sheet, I'll put the question on the board as well if you've not got that handy. So this is the first question. Not coming up as much as I would like. Right, so this is the first question. This is on the sheet that I've posted as an image. So if you've got that printed out, great, or you can just have a go on your books, on your piece of paper, whatever you want. This is the first question. We're going to try and go through 3 questions in the rest of the lesson. Then there's another sheet for you to have a go at for like extra independent work. I'm not going to call it homework because everything's homework at the moment. So start with this one. And you can move on at your own pace, and then we'll try and go through the first 3 questions in a bit. As always, any problems, please let me know in the chat. Let me know if you had any problems with the previous questions as well. You know, the point is we're making progress, we're keeping up with the maths, and hopefully we're getting better at things. We're able to solve more problems. Okay, off you go.